Let's go from this to this with 3 simple steps. You can use YOLO V8 to segment images. Step 1. Navigate to RoboFlow. The link is in the description. Once you're there, make sure to sign in or create a new account. This is where you'll start annotating your data. Create a new project and give it a fitting title. Now select Instance Segmentation. Instance Segmentation is where you don't only want to recognize the objects in the image, but you also want to highlight where they are. Like how in the beginning of the video that fork was highlighted yellow. That's the segmentation, the highlight over where the fork is. Add in at least one annotated group. You don't have to sweat these too much because you can add more later. Now add in images of the thing you want to segment. Here I upload a bunch of pictures of forks. You don't have to do that. You can take pictures of whatever you want or get them from the internet too. Select Label by myself and then you can finally start annotating. Here I annotate my first fork and I'm using the Smart tool here and you can see how that works. But I'm looking for something more precise, so I'm going to use that polygon tool and show you how this is done. Now I'll speed the video up so you don't have to watch this whole thing. In the beginning, annotating all these pictures can be really time consuming, but the process gets a lot simpler because after you have 75 annotated images, you can use your own instance segmentation model to help you continue to annotate them. Once you finish your outline, just make sure you save it to the right annotation group. I'm going to save it here and then I'm going to go do that other little part of the fork just because I want to be thorough. Then, once I finish that, I'll show you how to put it into either the test, training, or valid split. Here you can see I add the image to the training split. I have a smaller data set right now, so I want to have about 75% of my images in the train split, and then 15 in valid and 15 in test. When you have bigger data sets, you can do a more extreme split where you have 90% in training, and then 5 in the other 2, or 6 in valid and 4 in testing. But for small ones, stick with the 70-15-15 split. Now I'm going to show you what to do once you're completely done annotating all your images. So I'm going to switch to a project where I've finished annotating all the photos. Okay, so now we're here at this project where I annotated everything, and we're going to want to go to versions and do create new version. And here, pre-processing, I never really add anything, but augmentation, you can add whatever you want. I do 90-degree rotate and brightness just because I wanted to recognize it regardless of orientation or brightness. Just note that you can only make max 3 times the amount of images with the free version of RoboFlow. Once this is done, you want to download it, which I'll show you in just a second. So you're going to go to download dataset and you want to download just the zip. And then the other thing you want to make note of is that you want to be sure that you have YOLO V8. I know there's YOLO V8 oriented bounding boxes, but you don't want that. You just want YOLO V8. And then hit continue. Now that we have that done, we can move on to cloning the repository I have from GitHub. So if you don't have VS Code installed already, you should install that. In VS Code, click Clone Git Repository and then paste the repository from the description. Then put it in the folder of your choice. So I'm going to make a new folder because I don't like any of those. Alright, once you make that folder, you can open it. And then trust the authors. And now once this folder is made, you just have a few things left to do. So first of all, we need to unzip this package, which should probably be zipped for you, and then move that folder into your repository, or the folder that your repository's in. I'm just dragging and dropping, but you can do it through the Finder too, or Terminal, or whatever device you're on. Now you should see it in your repository, and that is good. And if it has a data.yaml in those folders, then you've got it made. Now we just want to change this data. We want to have this name match the name of the folder we just added in. So I'm changing that 2 to a 3. But you might have to change yours altogether just to have it match the file path, and you want it to be to the data.yaml inside your new model. Now you want to open up a new terminal, and here we're going to set up the virtual environment so that you don't have to download everything globally, all the libraries you need for this. So we're going to activate the global environment. And also I'm on Mac, so you might have different commands if you're on a different machine. And we're going to download these libraries we need that I'll also put in the description as well to make it easier. And then once we have those downloaded, just give it a second. Alright, now that those are downloaded, we want to fix our interpreter so that there's not those squiggly yellow lines under your imports. And you want to do Python select interpreter. And then under that you want to do your virtual environment, the venv. Now that we have that done, we can finally run the code. And it's a long process to run this code, but I'm just going to show you these first few seconds, and then I'll skip the video to once the code's already ran and the model's trained. And once the model's trained, it'll save under the runs file, and you'll see it there. So I'm just going to get this first output so you can see what it's supposed to look like. And it usually takes, I guess I don't know how long it takes, but a significant amount of time. At least like 30 minutes on my Mac. Although maybe my computer's slower than yours. Okay, so once you've been done running Model Trainer, you want to go to Single Image Segmentation. And for Model Path, somewhere after the Model Trainer has ran, you should have weights. And for me, I'm using best.pt because I want best is the best weight. Then these are from different epochs, and then the last is the last weight. And the best weight is based off this value called map50, which I might explain in other videos, but it's a really complicated formula, which takes into account a lot of different things. So I'm going to run it, but first let me pick a picture. So I'm just going to go, actually let me upload a picture quick, I'll be right back. Okay. So I added in a folder called test images and then added in an image here that I'd like to try. So now I just need to change this path to be right. And then once that's correct, we can run this and you'll see the image segmentation. It'll be done. Dang it, I thought that would autofill. All right. Save it, and we're gonna run it here, and we'll see a new file will pop up here once it's done, and hopefully it'll work. There we go, annotated image. We have a false positive here, but also I have a really small data set, so that kind of makes sense. And look at that, there's a good segmented fork. So what I need to do to improve my model for me is to just add way more images. Like, I think that under 100 is probably way too little. But this shows the functionality and how to get it started basically. And then improving is a lot easier from there once you have it all structured out. So cool, that's it for the image segmentation tutorial, and I hope this was helpful. Put any questions you have in the comments.